Hello everyone and welcome to CKTV, welcome to YouTube, and we are here today to talk about Batman, the whole Batman saga, the franchise that has been with us since back in the 1930s, the early 1930s. 1933 was the year that Bob Kane created Batman, a franchise that would grow and grow and grow. Right up to our latest film, which was this year, the movie from Warner Brothers, of course, that was The Dark Knight Rises. Brilliant, brilliant movie, and we all know that Batman is absolutely an amazing character. Both young and old and middle-aged people love the Batman. But I can tell you right now that I am a massive fan of Batman. That's the reason I'm doing this series of shows. This is the first show of a whole series of shows that I plan to do within the next few months. I'm not going to be rushing them. I'm going to do this one today, which will start off, talk about Batman's early years, the character's early years and its development over time. And then I will talk about the different incarnations of Batman, the different ideas that came and went, the ideas that stuck and the ideas that were flops. I'll talk about the rumors. I'll talk about the movies that nearly got made but didn't actually get made. And I'll talk about the feature films that everyone knows and loves. And then from there I will talk about the most recent films, the most recent series, and what's to come in the Batman franchise. We're going to talk speculation and rumors. We're going to talk fact and fiction about what is going to come from the world of Batman in the next couple of years, in the next few years. Collaborations with other franchises perhaps, maybe big super franchises coming together. It's all possibilities, and some of them possibilities in the last few days have been coming true. But right now, we're going to start off over on Coaster TV, which is my Ustream channel that I was using a few months ago. I done a half-hour episode on the whole Batman saga, which was just like a radio show because the screen kept, it wasn't a great picture, and it was more or less like me talking on the radio, but I done that, totally based the whole show on the Batman franchise. But right now I'm going to split it all up and talk in more detail about each incarnation of the Bat and the different things that happened over the years leading up to today's stuff in the Batman world. So now we're going to start it all with talking about the Bob Kane brought it about in the early 30s. Then it developed. Then the comic books started happening. Different characters started coming into the comics. I myself wouldn't be a big comic follower, but I'm going to talk about the visual media of Batman. And there's been over the years, there's been lots of exclusive novels on the Batman saga and the different characters, as there has the absolutely amazing range of comics. There's been spin-offs from the Batman world into stuff like TV series and even feature-length movies, like for example Birds of Prey, Gotham Girls, and then there was stuff like the New Adventures of Batman spun off into Nightwing, having his own episodes and different things going on, and then it went on into Batman of the Future and stuff. But that was the animated series. We're going to talk about that in episodes to come. On from there, from the early 1930s, 1939, 1940, it was the first series of feature-length films, the first serial. Back then they didn't use TV, they didn't have the TV regular in every household. It wasn't commonplace, and they decided everything was of course screened in picture halls and cinemas. There was a Batman serial, and in that serial, in fact, it was like Batman and Robin on horseback. And they do say that the Batman Forever film was based on the 1930s and 40s idea of Batman. Everything comic book style stuff, larger than life stuff. But now, the fact that this was Batman and Robin on horseback makes you think that would be interesting. That's a totally different concept. And unlike anything we have seen in our generation of watching Batman. Other stuff now I will tell you about. On and then into the 50s, there was the serials and the series. Of course, the comics continued, of course, down through the years. On and then to the 60s. And in the mid-60s, we were introduced to the Batman's TV series, which everyone knows and loves well. It was very camp. It was very, very cheesy, if you will. I believe it wasn't. It was it was an idea of Batman that people. Of course, the writer of Batman was, of course, Bill Finger, and he collaborated with Bob Kane in the early years. He was, of course, the founder and main man as far as the characters and stuff. And even still, the movies, much like Stan Lee in the Spider-Man, or in the Marvel world, Bob Kane ratifies and signs off stuff that's done in the DC Comics world now, that's put into film and stuff. But going on into the 60s with the TV series, as we were talking about, all the characters were represented well. A lot of the characters only were first seen in the 1960s series. I can tell you that I thought many of the characters were very well done. The fellow that played the Joker in that series was very good. Romero, Marcus Romero, I think his name was, and he was he done the Joker very well. I think he was Scottish, he had that kind of an accent. Maybe he put on that accent. I'm not 100% sure on him, but Penguin was, of course, played by the guy that played Mickey in the Rocky series later in his career, Meredith. And then, of course, also Catwoman was played by a few different actresses in that series, as well as the likes of the Riddler was played, of course, in that series. He was played brilliantly in that series. That guy that played the Riddler was excellent, and really brought the Riddler to the front. He really made the Riddler what he is. Like, the Riddler is a renowned character in the world of Batman, as you all know, and he really made him even more renowned, that character. In the 1990s, of course, he was resurrected by the legendary Jim Carrey. But we do know that the 60s series, and a lot of us will agree, it went for 2 seasons. A lot of you don't realise it didn't go for long. It didn't go for too long. It was 66 to 68, I understand, and it finished after the 2nd season. Not 100% sure how many episodes were in each season. I think it might have been 12, 15 maybe, but very, very good. I enjoyed it. I remember there was one particular summer. It used to be on Trouble, that TV, that Sky channel that used to be on when I would say when I was in me 10 or 11, around that age, and I watched that series on Trouble. It used to be on every second day or every third day, and that was enjoyable at the time. Because I was only young, and I was mad into Batman at that time, because that was around the time that Batman and Robin, the movie, came out, which was, we'll talk about that later. We'll just say nothing on that for now, but that was a disappointment. But they do say, coincidentally, that Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, was based on the whole 1966 to 68 Batman TV series. As you all know, before the TV series was actually made, back then, in the 60s, there was a movie. A lot of people think, oh, the movie didn't happen until after the TV series. Well, in actual fact, the four main characters in the series are, as you know, the Riddler, Catwoman, the Joker, and the Penguin, and they would go on to be probably the foremost characters that would resurrect in the actual series and films in the years to come. But these four characters were in the Batman series, in the Batman movie from 1966, and then they were in many episodes in the actual series. But there was loads of characters that were brought into the 66 series in the years after. The movie was good. I enjoyed the movie. Very camp, very cheesy, but you have to make allowances. The world of Batman offers us, over the years, has given us every concept, every aspect of emotion, every type of film, of series, every type of genre, if you will. It has touched on the comedy in that series. It has touched on the very serious in the Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan movies. And it has touched, kind of went in between in the Joel Schumacher and the animated series versions. So it would be very interesting to go back to the 1930s, 1940s version and see what way it evoked, what emotions that them particular series evoked for films. But very interesting stuff. I would really think that the 60s series and movie they were good for their time, probably. Things in the media, things in the world, society at that time was probably very happy-go-lucky, maybe. The music of the time was very happy-go-lucky, I know that. And looking back, I wasn't alive then, but having seen media of that, like film, and read about that time, it was a very happy-go-lucky time in history. A lot of tragedy happened in that decade, but a lot of very peace and free-loving ideas came then, and that was a very, very good. The Batman series was probably comic relief, and it was good for its time, but much improved on in the decades that followed, I think. But right now, we're going to take you to a couple of clips from the 60s series. Going to touch on a few things, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Movie Zone, where we'll be continuing our look back and our history of the Batman franchise, and this series of Movie Zone specials. See you later. Yoster, over. And
holy superlatives, Batman! It's really exciting. Soon, very soon, Batman and I will be batapulting right out of your TV sets and onto your theater screens.
That's right, Robin. Our first full-length motion picture feature in color opens a whole new world.
Batman was a lot of fun to film. We had a tight schedule, which I would have liked a little bit more time so we could have really savored every moment and really tried to pull out the best of our characters. But we still had a good time doing it, and I think it was a terrific production.
I was told that our shooting schedule was 6 weeks. However, I think I worked a little over 30 days, and I wanted a little time off, so I did ask them to try to cram my stuff together. The locations were interesting because we got to go to Santa Barbara and use that wonderful submarine there every evening. They got us off in a boat at the ocean end of the pier because we couldn't get through the other side.
Technologically, we had a tremendous crew, and everybody played their characters to the hilt. Everyone that on the crew loved doing the film. The actors and actresses, enjoyed it as well. And Adam and I had a great time. I mean, we were basically reprising what we were already doing on the series.